Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and I'm here to talk Tao of the Day. That's right. This is Tao of the Day. If you guys haven't been listening for a little bit, you guys might not know that I am making my own translation of the Tao of the Day. I'm taking all the different translations that I have. Pulled up, and I'm making my own little translation. It's just part of what I'm offering. And yeah, I didn't finish last time I was on Tao of the Day. I missed yesterday because I've been really kind of knee deep in some website stuff, so no big deal there. But I think today I'm going to go ahead and pick 17 for myself. If you guys know what Tao of the Day is, if you guys are familiar with what I offer here on Tao of the Day, please step up. Give me a number between 1 and 81, and I would love to give you your Tao for the day. What is Tao of the Day? Tao refers to the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE by Lao Tzu, presumably, right? We have like all these stories, just like, Old Testament and stuff. Like a lot of scholars now say that the Old Testament was written around 600 BCE, and we give credit to individuals, and we have all these like old ancient texts, and that's a big deal, right? To have these ancient texts, have things that have been around for a long time. And everything that was written in ancient times, really, as I look at it, were things that were things that held truths, right? Truths that we have lost sight of because we have gotten more active in our logical, like frontal lobe minds. And because we're active in that frontal lobe, we work with logic rather than working with the spirit or working with the heart. We work almost solely with logic, and that's a difficult thing. And when we do that, the reason it's difficult is because logic doesn't have the answer. You might even notice in your life places where, the logical answer wasn't the one that yielded the best results. It's so often that the logical answer takes us on a course that isn't the course that we would prefer to take. And when we get to a place of wanting to be there, when we get a place to wanting to know who we are, we have to let go of logic, because although we work a lot with logic, I've been talking with someone here at my friend Amanda's house, um, this woman MK, who's a scholar on the Renaissance and other things. We've been talking a lot about how the Renaissance really kind of got us moving in a direction. And I was talking to her yesterday how I don't like the Renaissance. I don't like the Renaissance for a number of reasons, one of which is because it gave us so much. It gave us so much to ask for, right? We wanted we wanted paintings to look like photographs. We want writing to be a certain way. We want to understand things. This is when we started really patting ourselves on the back. We started really looking at the world in a way of like man is better than nature. Um, and so that happened, and when that happened, like that really, and that was the peak of logic, right? The Renaissance was the peak of logic, and that was like the 14th to 17th century, so like 1300 to 1700, let's say. And that was when the frontal lobe was at its sort of most active. And what we're talking about is a text that was written, you know, 2,000 years before that. A text that was written when we were still dealing with the feminine, dealing with the relationship of us and the earth. We were it was not so logic based. It was based more on feeling. It wasn't based on knowing. It wasn't based on thinking, which is why one of the verses of the Tao says, stop your thinking and end your problems. So many problems were created or were launched by the Renaissance. And so I've been talking with someone recently because she's a Renaissance scholar, and I despise the Renaissance personally. I think that they set us on a trajectory to really trust in the mind, and the mind don't know nothing. And so here we are looking at, and Dr. Rao's going to come up, and I bet Dr. Rao has got something to say about the Renaissance.
Hi,
My friend,
Martin.
how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very well indeed.
Okay. So
I
I
want.
just popped up just to say hello. I did my
Oh well,
room
I
this
appreciate.
morning.
I saw. I see the updates, and I have not been on Wisdom very much. I'm only coming on and doing things when it feels right, and I'm working on some other things. But I'm really excited to chat with you.
Yeah. So what's going on? I mean,
Oh well, recently I've been talking with somebody. I'm staying at my friend's place this week as she's out of town, and I've been talking with one of her guests because she does an Airbnb about the Renaissance, and
ah,
she's been studying the Renaissance for a while, and as a painter, what I was saying was that like the Renaissance. Although the paintings are great, right? Like they're whatever. I really always disliked the Renaissance because they
mhm.
really established a way of thinking about the world.
ah, yeah. Conditioning.
Yes. And that's kind of like that was a big like when that like the conditioning that we got from the Renaissance was is pretty profound.
Yeah. 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 That is nefarious. That's true. Um, but there's a different implication and meaning of Renaissance. You know, for example, there was a book written by a great yogi called Aurobindo. You must have heard of his name.
Aravindo,
Um,
yeah.
Arvind. So uh, he talked about Renaissance of India through its spiritual genius. you know, at the
Hmm.
time of the independence, 1947. That's around that time he wrote which direction India should take. You know, he was
Yeah.
talking about Brahman, ancient wisdom, and simple life, inner riches, and all that, right? And obviously, they took the Western approach of external development and all of that, expansion into cities, towns, and destroying the village ecology, where the family background and people working small scale industries of their own, that kind of thing. Yeah?
Yes.
Now, I was invited to a room to talk about that kind of, um, you know, should we go back to the ancient things of Indian ways, or ancient of any country, right? Or should we go back to this, continue to be in this modern kind of things with the weaknesses? But I say, don't throw the modern thing out.
No,
Then bring the hacks from the ancient to really rectify some of the flaws of the modern life. You know,
I agree.
um, what you are saying about getting stuck in the mind, that's a modern thing.
Yeah.
Don't,
But
yeah,
like as one of the things that I like to look at is that like although yes, I don't like as an artist, I never liked the Renaissance because
yeah,
of this,
yeah,
because of the conditioning that the Renaissance played on the rest of
yeah, definitely.
the history of time moving forward. But what
Yeah.
I also recognize is that in order to get beyond that,
Mhm.
we need it. right? We need to see it. We
Yeah.
need to handle it. We need to be able to work with logic in order to grow
Yeah.
beyond it. We can't,
Like any,
we,
yeah, like
it's,
anything, you see, instead of thrashing it out or saying this is what it is and all
right.
that. Like, for example, yesterday I was listening to somebody, they were talking about there is a feeling in the West of the Orientalism, like putting all this together and saying that little the people of China are, superstitious people of India. That kind of classification where they are putting all that together and missing out what the wisdom humanity can use from that, like a Tao or Brahman and all that,
Yeah.
right? So that is there all the time. So the same thing is the Renaissance too. You're right, because if you get stuck in that kind of mindset or mind, and that you are not progressing forward.
Right. And then there's so much reward in the
Yeah,
mind. The mind
yeah,
rewards you all the time for feeding it, but
yeah,
it's just a hungry ghost.
yeah. It's a tool. That's the thing. Don't elevate it to beyond that to control you. But it's like a sword is there. You can use the sword very productively, but also you can kill yourself too. So that kind of thing. I think the mind is taking now such a huge place. Uh, that's why people really miss the deeper, choiceless awareness I talk about all the time. Once you are in there, then you can use the intellect very powerfully because you are standing on a base with a firm base. You can wield the knife better.
Mm.
Otherwise, it goes all over and cuts you.
Yeah. You know, I love in the Tao, one of the lines that I love so much is stop your thinking and end your problems. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
it really just kind of brings everything down to a head
No,
of
that's
just like no, no,
that's
no.
very very true though because
Yeah.
um, close your eyes and if you are completely free of the flailing mind, then you are very peaceful. See, like for
Yeah.
example, you kind of take your hand and then let it go wherever you want. You are moving continuously. Then they're purposeless and repetitive and going all over. Then you know that you're crazy. And somebody sees you, oh, what is he doing with his hands? But if you do it with the thoughts, nobody sees except you. You are aware of it. But if you say that's okay, it can chatter like that, it can go on like that, go wherever it wants. That's a problem.
Yeah. It's very often when I'm doing Tao of the day, I find myself my hand like sitting over my throat or sitting
Yeah.
over my heart or my solar plexus. And there are times where just I recognize my posture and I just notice it. And I'm like, oh wow, look at that. And I don't it's just like, wow, interesting.
Aware. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm just
aware.
aware of it. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm while I'm doing it, I'm just aware of where my hand is. And I'm like, wow, like there's just support being offered here.
Yeah. Even in the morning daily practice of the yoga, I
Yep.
bring this forth. I say, don't think anything right now. Okay. And that not does means you have to be stupid, but not related to the current activity. Don't let them come in. The extraneous thoughts, right? Some suddenly like, oh, I have to go and pay the electricity bill, or I have to take care of the insurance. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. They can wait. That's not like an emergency. But the thing is, why do you allow those kind of things? That's the practice. So that means
Mm.
you're out of awareness of who you are or what it is going on and all that, and you are letting the mind play its hands all over.
Yes.
So the
Yeah, yeah.
practice is, yeah, the practice is mind management of bringing it back to the center repeatedly.
Yeah. I utilize because I'm coming out of addiction and all of that, many years ago. I use
Yeah,
the phrase under the influence. Like, why are you
yeah,
allowing yourself to be under the influence of your brain? Your brain is your tool. It isn't your
yeah,
ruler.
yeah. No, so first of all, there is no existence of mind as a mind. It's all a bunch of thoughts
Yeah.
because people give something like a objective status to the mind, that's why it gets continued. And then it's like a virtual reality. You are in there and you think that is real, and then you really forget who you really are.
Yeah.
And that is very important in the modern age because there are so many stimuli that are provoking this kind of unpurposeful, uh, unconscious activity of thought. The thing is, it can create its own life. It,
Hmm.
it has a career. But the moment you realize this is mind itself is not there, all I have is a bunch of thoughts, then you will be able to really handle that because suppose you are able to slow down, you are able to identify, and you are able to really get stop negatives and then have positives, and eventually one thought and go beyond that thought and be in awareness, then come back and use the thought.
That's right. Like I was just writing this the other day about the idea of integrating. Like,
Mm.
don't judge the action that's
Mm.
happening with you right now. Like, whatever's happening, if you are just being, action happens to everybody.
Yeah,
Like, we're always in the state of being.
yeah,
And and when there is no action, that is a point of integration. That is a point of touching back and utilizing, hey, what just happened, and not sitting with it, but just like allowing your body, without you thinking about it, allowing your body, the and not even the body, allowing it all, like allowing the Tao to speak through that action without you activating your brain. Just kind of like, that's where yoga or meditation come in, which, like, that's the integrating of the movement.
yeah. You say question of integrating means who is the integrator, right? So what I would suggest is that's a good path to go on, but then ask the question of where is this whatever I want to integrate is coming from, and then you will find that is a real, inner being that you are talking about. That's where it
Yes.
is coming from, and then you stay there because if you say there is a element of two that needs to be integrated, but actually in actuality there's only one
Mm-hmm.
being that is having the thoughts. So it's not
Right.
like you want to create and like give life to the thought structure again. You can use
Yeah.
thoughts like you're using your limb. You are use your thoughts like you're using your vision and all that. But
Right,
beyond that,
right,
you
right,
give a
right.
life to that, then it takes its own life and it goes by itself. That's the nature of network of thought. One
Yeah,
thought,
I
next thought, like that.
right. I look at yeah, that is definitely how I see it. It's so hard to, like, the more you talk about it, the less you understand, right? Like, so I totally understand that.
Yeah.
And it's not about trying to express it, but it's about knowing it.
Yeah, not
And
doing it too, because can you experience that no mind, no mind or no thought structure? And once you
yeah,
are the experiencer doing that, then you don't have to fend off all the thoughts because they cease. See,
yeah.
there's a good saying I was always repeating: thoughts change, but not you, the real self.
Mm,
Let go the passing thoughts. That's the mistake we do. We hold on to the passing thought. We
right.
are thinking that is real, but we are actually giving it life by holding on to it.
Yeah.
Let go the passing thought and hold on to the real self.
Mm,
And then what happens is, once you are in that self, that self-luminous self really comes through, and then pausing all the thoughts.
And that's the thing. Like, I know in the moments where I am connected to that self in Tao, there is no thought.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. That's it.
There
But
is
then,
no thought, and that's why the body and the mind, those things that are whatever, like those things that are not continuous, those
yeah,
things integrate from me.
that's it. See, the thing is, nitya, nitya. This is the theory. What they say is, what is eternal in you, what is impermanent in you.
Yes.
There is a something that stays and something always goes away, right? So
Hmm.
the entire Indian philosophy is based on this. Praptasya prapti, nivrittasya nivritti. That means what you are always, you will get it. That is your Tao, the Brahman, or self, whatever we call it. That is always there.
Shakti. Yeah, that is always. You can come right back up, of course, Doctor, if you have the time and um, inclination. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, that's like, I mean, I've heard that as doing your dharma, and I don't
Let me
know
finish that thought,
yeah,
that praptasya prapti means what you are, you will gain. But you are mistaking that this thought structure is me, that's why you're missing on the Tao. But
right,
Tao is the real thing already there that you get. Nivrittasya nivritti means what you are not, you are thinking that you will lose it.
right.
You are thinking what you are not, and then you will lose it. That is the
You lose what you
spiritual
are.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you
right.
gain what you are, but you lose what you are not.
Yes. And
So
that's
that's the
and that's letting
ancient.
go of all of that identity,
Yeah.
as
Then
like as much as you can in this moment. It's like, of course, there is an ultimate space for that to exist, but like,
one
can't
of
like
the
when
challenges we encounter, Martin, I keep on reminding you, is that encounter with other mind established minds.
yes,
So they can only come from that. They have no inclination of the Tao or the Brahman or taste of it or re-establishing it itself. Then you will never be out of that. The people who are not even aware of it, just a concept they see, but they don't have a taste of it. Like you
yeah,
can say so much of sugar, but unless you taste it, you don't know the sugar, right?
that's right,
Like
that's right,
that. This is established by experiencing it, but how does it happen? By silencing all thought.
right. And I have found that the more the further I go into my recovery, whatever that is at the moment, whether it's from my MS or from my dark retreat or from my addictions or whatever, like, quietness comes.
Yeah.
It
Silence.
is it is my state. It is my natural state.
Yeah. That's it. This is the
And
natural
you
state.
and right, and it's the more influence and the more identity that you can release or get beyond, the more
Yeah.
that silence comes, because like that silence is always there. Just like
Mm.
the void, the vacuum in every one of your cells is always there, but it's your cell, it's your skin, it's the thing that you
Mm.
experience.
Yeah.
Beyond that, once you get rid of that, you don't cease to exist.
Yeah.
But
You see, actually, Martin, this has tremendous implications of, uh, facing the suffering and gaining the bliss.
yes,
The silence is there. That means your movement of thought is not there. Unnecessary movement, right?
right.
Then it will not produce the chatter that really produces a lot of suffering. But if you don't have that, then what they said, atyadhika dukkha nivritti. Extraordinary suffering may come, but then how you handle the torrents of suffering, that capacity is there. And then not only that, but you experience that natural joy that is hidden, it will come
Mm.
out. That is the blissful nature of it. So once you touch that, people will not go after the external small pleasures.
Right. And
That's
that
why
and
this work is important.
yeah, those pleasures, those external pleasures, and until you've touched that, like this is
Yeah,
the thing. It's so
yeah,
external pleasures. Like people defend external pleasures because they can't imagine. They're just
yeah,
like, well, I'm alive. I'm going to enjoy this life, and it's like, yeah,
yeah,
but the external pleasure isn't your enjoyment.
yeah.
Like
And
like
also, the real dukkha will be there all the time, waiting for you to happen, you know. And
yeah,
so this is like a gaining the capacity, and then you can be joyful in small things, but they won't be addictive.
right.
That's it. Okay, Martin, nice talking to
Thank you
you.
so much.
Okay,
Absolutely.
bye bye.
We have Kelly and Graciela in line. Graciela has been so patient. You're gonna have to be patient a little longer because Kelly was in before you. I appreciate your patience. Kelly, how are you this morning?
Thank you, Graciela. I'm good. I'm good.
so
Um,
we
Thank
so,
you.
so I have a new translation that I've been using because I've been writing the Tao.
Yeah.
And I think I might use that with us today if that's okay with you. It's not my translation, just one that I've been looking at.
So, Martin, will you say that one more time?
We're going to look at the James Legge or League. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's
Oh,
Leggge translation, and it's from 1891.
wow. Okay.
So we're going way back.
That's really exciting, actually.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about that. But can I change places with Graciela so I can be very focused? Because I really want to be very present in that moment. That sounds fun. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
come back. I'll stay here.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen.
All right.
Thank, thank you. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll just.
All right. Graciela, you're up. What's up?
Got it. Good morning. Thank you,
Good morning.
Kelly. Josh Leg or somebody Leg. I heard all that.
Yeah, we are going. Well, I'm looking at a James Legge. I think it's
Oh,
Legge.
James. Got it.
Leggge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
leggy.
yeah, Leggy, maybe Leggy. I don't know. I've been really I've liked his translations as I don't know if you heard, but I'm writing my own translation of the Tao at this point.
I heard
Um,
that, and that would be
and so
amazing.
and I really like, taking what this translation and a couple of the other ones that I've really leaned on, and really writing something that can contribute to the history of the translations, or at least contribute to my deeper understanding, and my ability to speak about it. Not that speaking about the Tao is the point, but yeah, it's nice in this world that we live in today to be able to communicate in that way.
Yes, I love it. Congratulations on writing your own. It's going to be fabulous.
Thank you.
And I missed you so much. I swear I'll come every day to check my feed, my little bell that tells me who was live, and I haven't seen you live in forever, and I'm
Oh,
like, what the heck is
I
going
have
on?
been, like, I was here on Monday. I was here all last week. I missed
Oh, it's
yesterday
so
because
weird.
I got lost down a rabbit hole of doing stuff for my subscription service and other things like that. Just like if I get up and start working, like sometimes I can get lost down a rabbit hole.
Well, that's a good rabbit hole to get
It
down
is, and
under. Yeah.
I enjoy it. Like I enjoy what I do, and really like I really love like problem solving in that way. So it's good. It's good for me.
Wonderful. Okay.
So
So let's do 23 from
23 leg,
James Leggy or Leg.
yeah, leggy. Abstaining from speech marks him who is obeying the spontaneity of his nature.
Mm.
A violent wind does not last for a whole morning. A sudden rain does not last for a whole day. To whom is it that these two things are owing? To heaven and earth. If heaven and earth cannot make such spasmodic actions last long, how much less can man? Therefore, when one is making the Tao his business, those who are also pursuing it agree with him in it, and those who are making the manifestations of its course their object agree with him in that, while even those who are failing in both of these things agree with him where they fail. Hence, those with whom he agrees as to the Tao have the happiness of attaining to it. Those with whom he agrees as to the manifestation have the happiness of attaining to it. And those with whom he agrees in their failure have also the happiness in attaining to it.
Oh my
But
goodness.
when there is not faith sufficient on his part, a want of faith in him ensues on the part of the other. So that's a lot.
That is a lot. I feel like it might take
That's a
you
whole lot.
a lot longer than just 10 minutes to dive
Then
into
10
all
minutes
of
to
that.
dive into it. So
But
so basically, what are you seeing here?
I mean, I love the way that it begins, kind of like pointing towards that throat chakra and expressing one's self.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elijah interrupted me midway, but I did hear, manifestations and the struggle, I feel like, to do so much or to do anything. Sometimes it's hard to do anything really. And I'm still like recovering from COVID. So it's been
Oh
kind
yeah.
of hard to just not do anything.
Yeah.
And to feel like I'm still doing something. Like
Yeah.
last week, all I did was sleep. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. And
No,
then
it's
at the very end, bringing faith, that always hits me really hard because it's a great reminder for me. But go ahead. Do you want to break
so
some of it
I
down?
wanna go through it, but again, we're not gonna be able to go through the whole thing. But
No,
I want
yeah,
to
just
focus on this one section
yeah,
that
that's
is
great.
really, and I'm gonna read through it again because I think I might be able to read through it better, um, and we'll talk about this. Therefore, when one is making the Tao his business, those who are also pursuing it agree with him in it, and those who are making the manifestation of its course their object agree with him in that. While even those who are failing in both of these things agree with him where they fail. So, what that says to me
Hmm.
is we're looking at a man who follows the Tao, a man who follows the manifestation, and a man who follows the failure of it, the judgment.
Right.
And it's interesting that we look at it this way because it's like, look, there's success in all of this. If you are following the judgment, you will find judgment. If you are following the Tao, you will find Tao. If you are following the manifestation, meaning like material goods and what have you, like the world around you, the addiction, you'll find that.
Right. And you find that what you're seeking actually
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what it is. So if you're looking for like if you're looking for something to criticize, you're going to find something. Or if you're looking
That's
for
right.
drama, you're going to find it. So focus on exactly what it is that you're trying to create, essentially, right?
Yeah. Like so beautiful, right? And then this next section, hence, those with whom he agrees as to the Tao have the happiness of attaining it. Those who seek the Tao have the happiness of attaining it.
Right.
Those with whom he agrees as to its manifestation have the happiness of attaining to it. Meaning that if you love attaining the material world, you will be able to attain the material world if that's what you're
Right.
focused on attaining.
Right.
And those to whom he agrees with their failure of also their failure have also the happiness of attaining it. If they want to find judgment, If they want to find, if they're happy to find the anger of judgment and frustration and all of that, and they look for that and they go find it, they have the happiness of attaining that.
Right.
But when there
Yeah.
is no faith sufficient on his part, a want of faith in him ensues on the part of the others. But when there is not faith sufficient on his part, a want of faith in him ensues on the part of the others. The
Mm.
others want you, like everybody wants you to be who you are. You know, like everybody wants, like in at our soul level, we want each of us to do our job, to do our dharma, even if that is, have COVID for this moment.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that strong, actually. Now I'm just thinking
Good.
about that, but but
Yeah.
it was still like very blah, and all I wanted to do was sleep. And at the same time, all of my dreams have been so vivid and exhausting for the past week. Like night after night after night, very vivid dreams that just exhaust me, right? Because my brain is like nonstop working. And so it's been a long week, but I'm just so happy to hear you, Martin John.
I would love to read this first line as well. We didn't go through this a second time, but hey buddy. Abstaining from speech marks him who is obeying the spontaneity of his nature. Abstaining Abstaining from speech marks him who is obeying the spontaneity of his nature, allowing this to be as it is, without having
Hmm.
to say anything about it, without having to, the first line of the Tao, the first verse of the Tao talks about the idea of like naming things is what creates the particular. And when you can stop trying to name things, and I think that's what this is pointing to, abstaining from speech, abstaining from trying to say this is good, this is bad,
Hmm.
this is right, this is wrong, this is me moving forward, this is logic, this is spiritual or whatever. It's just
Right.
now, without putting a label on anything, you can obey the spontaneity of your own nature.
Mm. Right. And I feel like for me right now, abstaining from speech could be not dwelling on the dreams. Like I sometimes wake up
Mm,
and I'm like, what does that mean? Like trying to
right.
make sense of it all, whereas, dreams are just a normal thing that happens in the brain. We don't necessarily need to drill into it and find meaning in all of it. And there's plenty of ways to look at dreams. There's dream journaling. There's I
Mm-hmm.
could divine with some tarot and be like, what does my dream mean? Oh, tell me with the cards and all this. And it's
Right.
like, how about I just let it go?
Or let it be. Right?
Right,
Like
yeah,
like
exactly, like
you
not
have a
even
dream, it will
think about it.
integrate whether you remember your dream or not. It's going to integrate into your being. And that's what Dr. Rao and I were talking about a little bit ago, this
Right.
idea that like, oh, you don't have to you don't have to do anything to integrate it. The integration will happen, and you're integrating this from the heavens or from the Tao to your mind and body, and they will respond because abstaining from speech marks him who is obeying the spontaneity of his nature.
Right.
You will respond because it's spontaneous. Like
Mm.
your being arises, and it's not that your being is created, right? It is your being, and your actions arise out of the spontaneity of your nature, of the
Mm.
nature of you.
Right.
And
So good.
nothing lasts all day, right? And that's what it's talking about the violent wind doesn't last the whole day. And where does the violent who is the violent, to whom are these two things owing? What is the owing of the wildness of this moment? What is owing of the wildness of this dream? That is you, that is Tao.
Mm.
It's not You. And so if heaven and earth cannot make those things last forever, neither can you. So like, don't let it go.
Right.
Have the dream and don't let it last forever. Even though you might want to hold on to it or grasp it or whatever, like this is just you integrating as you. Like, how exciting.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. And to be fair, I don't even remember half the things I dreamt last week. So by next week, I'm
Right.
not going to remember today's dream.
Right. And so just being like, wow, that was a trip. What's for breakfast?
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh. It's like I can hear Dr. Rao in my head telling me to just be. Just be,
Yes. Yes.
Graciela. Don't even think about the dream. Just
Right. The
be.
dream happened. Be here as the person who had the dream now. But that doesn't mean you have to remember the dream. It doesn't mean you have to do anything with it. You had the dream. That was what was needed for you to be the next spontaneous evolution of you. Of
Mhm.
your,
Mhm.
and you are Tao, and so you are that thing. But to clear more, like attaching to having had the dream is attaching to the identity of someone who had the dream.
Right. Or even attaching to the idea that I am the person that in the dream. Like it's just dreams are
Right.
so fickle, and again, it's just our brain. And I mean, I saw my dad, and that's always super awesome to see my dad and to speak with him, but it's it was just weird, and to have vivid dreams. I've had vivid dreams forever, even lucid dreams where I know I'm dreaming and blah blah blah, but this past week I've just noticed how intense that activity has been. And I've no doubt that it's because of, the stupid virus that now I'm even more like paranoid about. But thank you so much, Martin John. We love you. I
Absolutely.
love you so much. And I'm just grateful to be listening. So I'll keep listening to Kelly. Hopefully she's there.
Yeah. This is, and I do believe she is, and we will be bringing
Awesome.
her in now. Yep.
Bye. Have a good
Thank you.
day.
You as well. And this should be said, like, I think Graciela, Kelly, and myself are all going to be participating in the Love Wave on Monday next week. So good on us. Kelly, welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Did you
Hello. Hello.
hear? Did you hear that last translation?
Yeah. Um,
Yes.
let's
So that's what we're going to be tackling. What
let's
your
do it.
number? Let's do it.
Oh, let's do number 8.
Number 8. Okay. I also want to, like, before we're done, I translated 8 for mine, and so I'd love to read that as well
Ooh.
when we're done.
Yes. Okay.
So
I
the highest
when
excellence, what?
I was just say if I mute, I'm still here, just so that there's no background noise here.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I wanted to share.
Okay. The highest excellence is like that of water. The excellence of water appears in its benefiting all things, and its occupying without striving to the contrary. The low places which all men dislike. Let me reread that sentence. The excellence of water appears in its benefiting all things, and in its occupying without striving to the contrary, The low place which all men dislike. Hence, its way is near that of the Tao. The excellence of a residence is in the suitability of the place. That of the mind is in abysmal stillness. That of association is in their being with the virtuous. That of government is in its securing good order. That of the conduct of affairs is in its ability, and that of the initiation of any movement is in its timeliness. This is a tough one. And when one with the highest excellence does not wrangle about his low position, no one finds fault with him. Okay, come back up and let's talk about this, because that's a lot.
That
Thoughts,
is
like,
it's a
that's heavy.
heavy one. Yes.
Are you following along with
Well, the water really does set the stage because
It does.
water is such a strong association, and it's it's so good. And then like the house with the suitability, like it was tough. Like you definitely had to take some bites, right?
Yes. So the highest excellence is like that of water. Okay, so if you like, what it's saying here is, if you want to be the most excellent, you're going to want to be like that of water. The excellence of water appears in its benefiting all things. So the reason that water is so excellent is because it benefits all things, and in it's occurring without striving, and it's occupying without striving to the contrary, and it's occupying without striving. So it can occupy without trying. So it always flows to the low places which all men dislike without trying. It is never going up. It will only strive. It will only move to the low places that people like without resistance. It will always just sink in.
It
Hence, it
just
is
it
near that of the Tao. It will just fall. Water falls. That's what it does. If you put it in a cup, it will never not go to the bottom of the cup. It will never float on top of something. Well, I mean, unless you put something there that it can't penetrate. But eventually, it will penetrate that thing.
But even so, it's not seeking to penetrate, right? Like it doesn't seek anything.
Right. It's
It
not
may,
without
yeah,
striving. Right. It's not
yeah.
trying at all. So that is the first section. Okay, so all we know now is that if you want to be fucking awesome, you are going to be like water. Water does two things. It benefits everything, and it's humble always. It's always moving to the lowest place.
Mm.
The excellence of a resident is in the subtlety of the place.
The
The
excellence of a
excellence.
resident, the person that lives there
Yeah, so
is
let's maybe the master. Maybe we can kind of look at that as the master.
oh
That the
the
mind.
humility, yeah. Like you're
Yeah,
not striving to be revered or looked upon as God or guru. You're simply like you just are, and that
right,
will allow the truth to be told. You don't need to
right.
prove yourself.
That of the mind is abysmal stillness. Abysmal stillness. Like the person
That's
who
so
is in that place, the master's mind is abysmally still.
abysmal is a crazy word.
Yeah. You want to look it up? Let's look it up.
I mean,
I mean, I know
because
what it means, but let's have a definition.
it could be different since definitions are kind of antiquated.
Yeah. And so there may be
Abysmal stillness, like that is just
extremely bad, appalling, or very deep. Waterfalls that plunge into abysmal depths.
like
So
a
let's
black
look at
hole.
it as
Yeah.
deep. Yeah. The mind is in abysmal stillness, the depth of stillness. Wow, that's such a beautiful way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
That of associations is in their being with the virtuous. That of associations is in their being with the virtuous. So that's what Dr. Rao's always telling me. Stay with, like, don't open yourself up to those who are closed off. Stay open open yourself to those around you. Like, open yourself up to the virtuous.
Guard your
That,
energy is what I kind of
yes,
hear too. Like you
yeah,
don't squander it, like value yourself there.
yeah. That of government is in the securing good order. So when you're looking at like this idea of government, or like secure good order, that of the conduct of affairs is in its ability, and that of the initiation of any movement is in its timeliness. I think this is just starting to get, this is 1891, so this is like even breaking this
Specific to the
apart is,
time. Yeah.
yeah, starting to get a little, that of the
Personal.
conduct of
Yeah.
affairs is in its ability, like, so, and so that is, if we look at like the excellence of a resident, if we say that's the master, is in the suitability of the place. Is in the suitability of the place. That of the mind is in abysmal stillness. That's the
That
one that I think we can really embrace, because we get that one.
I think it goes together though too, right? Because like your residence is within, and so like it is of your mind, and so like you're like how like open, like how clear, like how much of your void can you like be in, so that you're not trying to force anything or be anything, but just allowing the experience. Like if you think of
Yeah.
the residence as the mind.
Yeah. And when one with the highest excellence, like if we say this is the master, and when the master does not wrangle about his low position, about any position, right? It does not wrangle about like like water moving to a low position. No one finds fault with him. And he's fine with being lowly, or the low man on the totem pole or whatnot.
I don't think he notices, right? Like you don't even
Right.
notice
He doesn't even
if
know.
you are.
Doesn't
Yeah.
even know. Yeah.
Because there's not really a low point when you don't attach yourself to
When you
those
right.
constructs. Yeah.
When you don't associate with them, they don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like it's
Right.
so important. It's actually so vital to feel that, to realize that, like let that sink in. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we get caught up. We're in a society. We're social creatures. And like it's hard not to get pulled in. You see it as a mom, right? Like my kids pulled in. People, everybody, even, I mean, the most chillest people, you can get pulled in. Like
Right. So that's 8. I would like to read my translation because
I'm
I did it.
totally curious. Yeah.
Okay. Water is humble, always traveling to the lowest place, nourishing without taxing everything along the way. In so doing, it is like Tao. The master aims to resemble water. In thinking, she is simple. In conflict, she is fair and generous. In governing, she doesn't need control. In work, she does the most obvious thing. In family life, she is always present. When one can be content with being and not require comparison or praise, their life is a donation that is never spent.
That's freaking great. That's really freaking beautiful. I love it. It's so good. I've got little goosebumps. It feels so good. It feels like a flower blooming. Like it feels like, yes, like a freaking water lily or a lotus, like just blooming. That's how it feels when I listen to that. That's good.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I like when I was writing this one at the end, I don't think I captured exactly what I want to do, so I might have to go back to it. But their life is a donation that is never spent. What I mean by that, and I think this might get lost, is like, although you donate something, you never lose it. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, I'm giving this away, but I'm never losing the thing that I gave away. My
Like a
life is
gift
a
instead of a
donation. Yeah, it's a
donation.
gift. Well, that's the thing. Like, even a gift, you're giving something. And that's why it's a donation that is never spent. Like, if you give someone energy, you didn't lose energy.
A gift that
You just
that you
gave.
also get.
Right. The
Yeah.
gift that you never lose, right? You can give someone something and they receive it, but it doesn't get lost from you. And that's the thing that I want this to understand, right? That's what I want this last sentence to kind of, this last line to really infer, is like their life is a donation that is never spent. And so that's what that is trying to, like when the master can do that, then everything you give is never
It's not hard. It's not taxing. It's
Right.
truly
That's what.
a
Yeah.
truly get receive. It's like money. If you hold on to it, you can have a lot of it, right? But it's not flowing through you. Like there's only so
Right.
much you can hold, and you don't spend it, then you're not living, you're not experiencing. Like it's not hard to do the right thing because you find peace and like connection and beauty in life through that. But we are
Yeah.
get so resistant. I see it in certain men with children in my life. Like they struggle so hard to be there and do things for them because I want to do this and they're fighting. But when they actually give their baby a bath, my daughter's boyfriend, then like he's really satisfied and he feels good. So like what was all that resistance for? Like why did you lose? Why did you give up all that time to fight for your time for yourself when really it was right there? Like you didn't lose by baby bath time. You know, like
Right.
it's that example of like I don't mind stopping and helping somebody with something driving on the road because like I feel more reward by doing that than they probably do by receiving. But maybe it's equal, it's just abundant. Like taking an extra moment to acknowledge with love somebody around you is you find that you get more than you give.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted this last night, because I think I hint at it by always traveling to the lowest place, nourishing without taxing everything along the way.
Delicious.
Right? Like that's
Hmm.
that's the that's the thing that comes back to this last line. Their life is a donation. Like I'm donating all of this to the whole. You know, and it's like, but I'm never left without anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a truth. The more you give, you can't. I always think I used to say this too, but like I try to give as much as I receive, which is an impossibility because the more I give, the more I seem to receive. You know, like I can't give in equal amounts to how much I receive. It always just comes back twice, you know? But
Yeah.
doing it with the right intention, don't go out with the expectation of receiving. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you. I love this.
This is
I love
good.
you.
We
You're
are
the
we are
best.
all moving. We're all moving in a beautiful direction, and that direction is down to the like water.
Like water, all the way down to the best places.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
wonderful day, Kelly. All right, we're going to call it a day. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you, Graciela and Dr. Rao and Kelly. Thank you, Kelly, for listening to my translation of the Tao and your thoughts. It's always great to have that as I'm working through this. Tomorrow, can't imagine I won't be here. And if I get a chance, I'll be picking number 17. So if you're interested in hearing that, you can come join me tomorrow. I have a subscription service for anybody who is interested in having a 1 hour call with me every month. I am a recovery mentor. I talk all about what it is we're recovering to, beyond what we're recovering from. I have my ebook of quotes on my website. I also have my Recover Yourself workshop, which is now available through my website as well. So definitely check out all of those things. I will, as I mentioned earlier, on Monday be part of the love wave that's going on here on with the Wisdom app, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that. So definitely keep an eye out for all the things that we are doing here on Wisdom, and this community is beautiful, and looking forward to connecting with you. Have a great day, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.